Hey everybody, I am so touched to be here. I am Dr. Saida. Today we're going to talk about my new book, Desire. But what we're going to talk about is not what's in there because I'm already doing a lot of stuff about the content. What I want to reveal now, today, in this Facebook Live is why did I write it? Because it's actually one of the biggest questions that I get from people is why did you write the book? What inspired you? What was going on? So I want to take a moment to do that. I know that a lot of you, it's the weekend, a lot of you are going away for festival time, so there's a lot of busyness. So I'm gonna guess that I may not hear from you today, but at some point in the next week or a few weeks, I'm hoping to have a deepening conversation with you about desire because it's super, super important. Now, we have like base desires, like a lot of chocolate, food, things that we want right away. But that's not the kind of desire that I'm talking about here. Desire for food and desire for things for survival, that's one aspect for sure. But what made me write this book is the understanding that right now, desire has been vilified, and it continues to be vilified a lot. We're looking at the effects of post-Me Too. We're looking right now, there's so many outings of spiritual gurus, even people who are leading conscious sexuality, those teachers, there's many outings there. So there's something that's happening planetarily around our desire. Now, right now, we're kind of focused on the desire for sexuality and that experience. So we can go there as well in this conversation today. But I wanted to look at desire because it's so big and it has so much energy. And welcome everyone who's here, sending you love. I'm really, really touched that you're here. It means a lot. It's gonna make me cry. It's very vulnerable for me to launch this book and to put this out into the world because not only am I sharing really personal stories that I've never shared before publicly, but I'm also proposing some ideas that I feel are really important right now, and those very ideas, I'm pretty certain some people are going to hate them. So there's going to be an uprising of haters come when this book comes out. But I feel like I need to say what I'm saying here, and that I have enough of a powerful community that believes in really living life on their own terms, and that's why I'm doing this. So the reason I wrote the book, first of all, I couldn't not write it because in 2014, I could feel the book wanting to come through, and I didn't know what it was going to be about. And so we went to Cuba for 5 weeks to learn Cuban salsa, and we lived amongst the culture. And in that Cuban culture, every single day I'd wake up and I'd ask myself the same question. And the question was, what would my pleasure love today? Now that's a big deal because I'm a workaholic. And I'm really dedicated to my community and the work that I do in the world and service and helping women and helping with sexuality. And it can be a very intense subject. And so it's been important for me to walk my talk. And that question, I wanted to take myself deeper. What would my pleasure love today? It was something that I needed to consider, so I journaled every single day. Now, I didn't necessarily refer to that journal once when I wrote the actual book on desire, but I feel like that question and that journaling and the experience of being offline and immersing myself in the Cuban culture and learning the salsa and just being in this vibration of life helped set the petri dish for this book. And then the next place where it came through was a private coaching session with my coach. At the time I was coaching with someone called William Whitecloud. And he just blew me away in that session. He just said, you know, I really get you're just gonna write about desire. And it kindled something in me when he named it. And I realized that desire, we don't understand it. That we've been conditioned and socialized and sold an idea of desire. But very few of us really understand it, and it's not our fault. We'd love to. We get a feeling that it would be a great thing to explore, but we don't even know where to begin. So that was that. And then I went, 6 months later, I went to Mozambique, and I sat down, and for 2 weeks at a writer's retreat, I just let myself write about desire. And what does desire want the world to know about itself? And what I started to realize is this idea came forward through that writing retreat, and then through discussing things with another friend, Timothy Freak, who's an incredible, deep philosopher, if you don't know about him. And I asked him, I said, Tim, I have this idea about desire, but I think it's more than what the philosophers think it is and what the academics think it is. And I don't know if I really have the right to speak about it. But I kind of feel like I need to. So here's one of the ideas that, why I wrote this book. I think I got interrupted there by a call, so I apologize. So I think one of the ideas of why I wrote this book is a deep passion for something I would love to name for all of us. Here's what I believe. It's just a belief. Everything I share is just a belief. It's my orientation to life, let's say. So you're invited to take it or leave it. But in Costa Rica, in speaking with Tim, being amidst the jungle, and writing 5 versions of this book in conditions that sometimes were great but not great, but 5 versions of this book, I realized what I was trying to depict was that desire for me, it's the bridge. It's the bridge between the prime directive of your own soul, why you are here, and your conscious, feeling, sensual, organic body self. It's the bridge. For me, it became like the visceral voice of my soul's directive, kind of pulling me forward. And the only way to get my attention was to give it to me through sensation, through feeling, through just exploring. Because desire, when you really want something and you ache for it, it's painful sometimes. And it's uncomfortable a lot of the times. It can be frightening, can be exhilarating, can be edgy. I mean, it has these qualities. Think about it. I'm not talking about desiring a piece of food. I am talking about an aching yearning. Like for some women, the ache, the yearning to have a baby, this huge, profound calling is not a little thing. Maybe for some of you, it's you want to know God through sex. You just know that there's got to be that kind of orgasmic experience out there for you, and you ache and you yearn for it. Maybe you're a person who wants to know your version of God, rapture, that divine full surrender, and it aches. Maybe you're the person who wants to contribute something to this planet that's going to change things for humanity, even if it's in a small way, and you feel it, and it aches, and you yearn for it. You don't even dare mention it because it's so big that if you dared saying anything about it, you might feel like, how dare I say that? That desire, that ache, that daring place is why I wrote this book. I don't know about you, but the thought of living my life, coming to my last day with an aspect of my soul or my being unsung, that somehow I was called to something, and through conditioning or whatever, I didn't answer that call. I left that unsung, and I will die with it unsung. That to me feels like an excruciating agony. And that's why I wrote this book, because I want all of us, each of us, right now, to know that what matters in your heart, it really matters. It's not a little thing. It matters. And it doesn't have to matter to anyone else to be valid. I wrote this book so that you could fall in love with your own yearning, with your desire, so that you could trust it, so that you could act upon it in a conscious and full-bodied way, so that you wouldn't feel alone in saying yes to something that might scare the bejesus out of you, so that you wouldn't feel discouraged, or that what you yearn for, somehow you've yearned for it for so long, you just don't know how it's going to happen, and so you give up on it. I wrote this book so you wouldn't give up. I wrote this book so that you would kindle your own daring nature, something we really need right now because we're so freaking apathetic as a humanity. Because I believe that if you act upon your deepest calling, and your neighbor does, and the person who's at the grocery store does, and I do, we all do, collectively we construct in this beautiful weaving, this tapestry, that which is needed for the evolution of humanity, that which is needed to bring forth the beauty of being human and the genius of being human, so that we can start to really thrive and love this life, because it's a miracle that we're even here. The fact that we exist, that we have a body, that we're breathing, that we're here, is miraculous. It's even greater miracle that we can bring something from nothing, that we can bring forth something that started as a dream, as an ache, a little whisper in the heart. We bring it forth, and it becomes something. This chocolate bar was someone's yearning at some point. And they went through the process and created it, and I get to eat it. I mean, that's what happens when we can validate for ourselves this ache. Now, it was very important to me, and I want you to understand this. There are 6 versions, 6 songs of desire. And they're all really valid, and they're all really important. And I wanted to write them, about them. So there's the Song of Eros, which I think is incredibly important to write about, because it's so misused and so misunderstood. There's the Song of Procreation, the Song of Love, the Song of Rapture, which is a spiritual calling, the Song of Thriving, which is really important in a day where so many people are taking their own lives, or just giving up on life and living a slow suicide. And then the desire of contribution. These 6 songs create the symphony of our life. So it is possible to have multiple songs, desires calling us at once. That is possible. So I wanted to weave that because we are complex beings. It's not that simple. So how do we navigate a world where there's so much pressures, these social constructs, these social mandates asking us, behave like this or else you won't belong, you won't be okay, you won't survive. And then you have these desires that perhaps are outside of the box of your current relationship or the box of your current job or the box of your current family life or your culture. All the beliefs that surround you, those boxes, they're nice, but it's not who we all are. So I wrote this book with a desire to touch something, to ignite something in the reader, in you. A truth, a living truth, a truth that's so alive, it has no words, a truth that's pulsing so deeply that all these words that are in here barely touch it, but hopefully they point you in the direction of it, that you can feel it in your own heart because it's the language of the heart. It's the kind of connection with your desire that makes it true, where you can break free of what I call hijacked desires. So I explain what those are in the book. We all have those. There are ways in which we've been conditioned to believe that we should go for certain things and be a certain way and desire those things. So we give our life force to that, but we inevitably don't feel fulfilled by that. So the book really explores what that is and helps us return to the true, authentic calling, the true desire in our own hearts, what is really moving us forward. So this is important because some people, like, I think one of the parts of this book that's going to be most difficult for people to accept is that the desire for God, the desire to know your spiritual path, whatever that is, your version of that, to touch that so completely that you enter a state of rapture, that is an authentic desire. And I want you to have it. And I want you to taste it. And I want you to say yes to it. Because when you do, when you say yes to it, genius is born. And that's what this is about. We explore those different types of desire. We explore what's needed, which is your daring nature. It takes daring to be willing to break out of our conditioning and to really sit. What is the living truth in my being? And can I take a stand for it? And can I allow it to matter even if it matters to no one else? And even if everybody else might judge it because they don't understand it yet. And then the last part of the book is giving you the tool that I'm using, that I think is a fabulous tool. It's super simple, but is how to live as a creator in your own life. How do you go from the ache to creating, to bringing forth, to birthing, to allowing this to move you so that you're a person who in your community is ignited, switched on, an inspiration, and someone who is creating more and more benevolence. That's why I wrote this book. And that's why I feel it needs to be in everybody's hands right now, so that we can name where we're stuck. We can name where we've sold out. And then we can feel our own volition, our own power to choose to really go for what matters in our lives. And it's a fun book. I want to do this with fun because we need to have fun. It can be a really serious topic. There's a lot of stuff hitting the fan right now around desire. So it's really important for us to explore this with a lightheartedness, with some fun, and as community. So one of the things I'm doing is you can pre-order the book now if you want it, because then you'll have it right away. It's coming out in the bookstores and online September 10th. But one of the things I'm going to be doing with this is creating a free book club. It's totally free, with videos that are going to go deeper into this. Some of you who are watching were actually part of that book club, so it was super, super fun because you gave me direct feedback, and we created over 4.5 hours of content-free video that we're going to do. I'm also, I've put together a playbook. This is the important part why I'm bringing it up, is I want you to download the playbook that goes with this, because then as you're reading, you go through the questions in the playbook and you make it very real for yourself. You make this experience, this journey of getting to know and falling in love with your deepest desires very, very real and authentic for yourself and concrete. And then I'm going to also post in that club some free downloadable meditations, audio meditations, because one of the things that became clear to me is sometimes we have a hard time even connecting with our deep heart and the yearning there. Maybe we've spent too much time in our to-do lists, or being overwhelmed, or being tired, or whatever it is. So the meditations will be designed to help you feel on a visceral level this calling. So I'm really excited about offering those to you. Thank you for being here today and letting me be emotional. It's really tender. It's like the few weeks before birth. You're anticipating the baby. You're having, the baby shower, or the blessing wave for the book or the baby, whatever it is that you're birthing into the world, a project. It's always a really tender time right before. So thank you for being here with me today. I feel seen, and I feel I needed that. I needed that from you, and I needed your love and your support, and it feels really good to receive that. I think sometimes I come across like I'm really strong and I'm like super there for everyone. I have a lot of energy, and I am that. And I'm also like really, really vulnerable and tender right now, and really and feeling it. I'm really feeling the shift that's gonna happen when this book comes out publicly. I'm excited about it. I'm thrilled about it. And I know there's going to be some challenges. So feeling your support and your love is amazing. So please, desirethebook.com is where you can get more information on the book, including how you can join the desirethebook.club. It's all there. There's some fun ways of you to also win some prizes with the book. So stay in touch, because we're going to let you know about that. I love you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for exploring desire. I am posting little, I think 30-second videos twice a day here on Facebook and YouTube, where I'm actually reading to you from the book. So if you want to listen to those, they're 30-second videos. Check them out. Lots of love, everybody. Have an amazing day. And I want you to walk away at least considering that's what living in your heart right now, what's the calling you in your heart right now. Let it have a voice. Let it exist, and let it matter to you. All right, everybody. Big, big kisses. Lots of love. Thank you. There's so many wonderful comments here. Yes, I'm reading all these comments. Thank you so much. Tanya, you're amazing. You always write such great things. Thank you. So definitely, if you're watching this as a replay, leave me questions or thoughts or comments, or even just some cheerleading. That would be awesome. And we'll be back in touch very, very soon because this is the pre-launch. The book comes live very soon. Lots of love, everybody. Thank you for being here with me.